I think we're live. We are live. Sorry, the computer kind of glitched for a second. Welcome back, everyone. Long time no see, right? This is United versus Everybody. I am your host, Sean. I'm glad to be back. I told you guys this morning I was going to give you a little bit of a bonus stream tonight, and I did not lie. Here I am to make up for not doing anything yesterday, just for being a little under the weather. Still a little under the weather today, just super tired, but here I am because I appreciate each and every single one of you absolute legends, and I am all about it. I'm just going to turn my light up just a tad. There we go. Boom. So, a little bit of a fun video tonight. We'll do the Bournemouth preview tomorrow. We'll save that for tomorrow. I'm still putting that one together a little bit. But a little bit of a fun video tonight to do with transfers and scouting, mainly in correlation with what's going on right now in Manchester United regarding the potential sale of Marcus Rashford. Now I know you guys are sitting there like, Sean, you've done like 1,817 January transfer videos. I know, but because United have made like 1,817 changes to the structure of the club, like I did the one at the end of the transfer window, right? We got like new owners and stuff, new recruitment, everything. And then we sacked Ten Hag, and then we brought Amorim in, and now Rashford's leaving. Like all this shit keeps changing, so I've got to keep up with it. So don't forget about some of those targets, especially the bargain one we did last week or the other week, because those are really good bargains in my opinion for a club that's skint. But we are talking tonight about how to replace Marcus Rashford, how to use that money. Do we look for likes? Do we look at the squad? Rashford dropped a bomb earlier this week when he was interviewed by Henry Winter and stated that he might be ready for a new challenge. Now, you don't need a subscription to Duolingo to know that in footballese, that means he wants to leave the club, right? Danny B, my ride or die. How are you doing, my PIC? Good to see you, my friend. So yeah, you don't need a Duolingo subscription to know that that means Rashford wants to go. Whether that's in January or in the summer is anyone's guess, but Rashford's sale would be all profit for a United side that really is in need of a cash influx, not only to work within PSR regulations, but we also need to kickstart a proper rebuild under this new regime, under this new manager. And it goes without saying that Ineos need to spend that money wisely, with one eye on building for the future with young talent, what we're going to talk about a little later. But also the other eye needs to be on strengthening this current squad. We can't just buy a bunch of 17-year-olds and then wait a couple years to see if they're good or not. We have to look right now for the here and now. So I have some options that I want to go with you. I want to share those with you. I want to hear your options as well, because I want to know your opinions, especially on just how do we spend that money? Do we look for like? Do we look at different positions that we need? You guys let me know as we go along. And we're also... Danny says, a little cold, sick past few days. Everyone has been sick. My wife was sick. My buddy Justin, you guys remember Justin? He was sick. I'm sick. Like it's like a cold or something. Honestly, I was telling my wife, I was like, it felt like, I don't know how many of you, like, hopefully maybe you guys didn't catch COVID, but when I had COVID a couple of years ago, like I just was tired all the time. Like just winded, going up the stairs just to get like a drink of water or some Gatorade or something to help with the replenishing of my electrolytes. It just left me tired. Like yesterday, I was on the couch most of the day and I just kept falling asleep. And today was more of the same. I thought I was getting better. I feel better. I can tell when I'm just doing stuff that I'm just getting winded. And so I just keep falling asleep. I literally passed out not too long after doing this morning stream because just talking and stuff, I was just huffing and puffing. But we're pushing through it tonight. We're powering through. Thank you guys for stopping by. Please like the video and subscribe if you're new. As the ticker says, we are on the road to 3K. But tonight we're having a fun time, doing a fun video, a little more cash tonight. We'll do the Bournemouth preview tomorrow. We're going to talk about transfer targets to replace Marcus Rashford. But we are also going to announce the giveaway winner for the shirt because the winner from last week never got back to me, which is a bummer because you're missing out. It really is too bad. So we're going to do another announcement for the jersey tonight. So everyone gets a second chance at this jersey. It is a 21-22 home shirt. It is brand new. It is a large, but they do tend to be a little bit of a slimmer fit. So it's like a Marge if you're going to combine it. But we'll do that a little later on because everybody gets a second chance. So hopefully you weren't bumming out that you didn't get the winner. Everyone's got a chance. So on the subject of transfer talk, before we dive in, and we'll start with a couple pieces of news that could be relating to United before we go on. So first bit regarding Chelsea, but it also has to do with a player that a lot of us were interested in the summer, that we were linked with a little bit this summer. So Fabrizio Romano reported today that Ben Chilwell, Cesar Casede, and Carney Chukwuemeka are planning to leave Chelsea in January. Now, Chukwuemeka in particular was a player that I wanted to look at. You guys, some of you guys in the chat thought would be an interesting pickup. A young midfielder, a little dynamic, loads of potential. I've seen loads of Chelsea fans not happy that he could be leaving. They really like him. He's just not been playing a lot. His injuries are a bit of a concern. He's got a little bit of an injury history. And at United, that pretty much means death. That's like sneezing when you were like 12 in like the 1700s. People are just like, all right, nice knowing you. Sorry. But you guys let me know what you think about Carney Chukwuemeka. Would you still take him at United if a good deal can be done? I think they owe us a little bit for this Sancho bullshit, but you guys let me know what you think about Carney. Speaking of building for the future, though, and since Danny B, my South American scout, is in the chat, Fabrizio Romano has also given us his official here we go regarding 17-year-old left back Diego Leon. Remember that we talked a little bit about him earlier in the week. Young Paraguayan left back, plays for Cerro Porteño. Very physical, very powerful, very explosive, very good on the ball, very good attacking. Apparently, he has signed all the documents, all set to join us in the summer when he turns 18. He can't do it now because he's only 17. $4 million fixed fee, reportedly $1 million in easy achievable add-ons, and then 2 to 3 in a little harder to achieve add-ons, probably like winning Champions League or winning the Premier League or some bullshit like that. But around $5 million, so a little less than that for pounds. I don't know the conversion rate off the top of my head. Somebody will help me out in the chat. So are you guys excited? Danny, are you excited? Danny says Carney is 20 mil. He'd be worth a loan with an obligation to buy. I mean, if we're getting 25 mil for Sancho, and who was playing and still was shit, I mean, I would be trying to get that down to like 10 million with an obligation to buy, or like 12 or something. Personally, I think that would be good investment because you could still make some money back, or at least break even if he doesn't work. I've read some links that he might be looking at AC Milan, maybe following the Loftus-Cheek route, but Danny says, yeah, I like these signings. I like them too, man. If we can get Nipan over the line, we got Leon over the line. I like this a lot. I'm really liking it. So you guys let me know what you think in the chat. All right, moving on to Rashford. So I don't really know what's next for Rashford, what the next chapter in his professional career looks like. Will he leave in January? Will he wait till the summer? Who knows, right? I'm not going to do a whole video or anything on potential destinations for Rashford because, I mean, I'm trying to find a way to say this that doesn't sound like I'm mean or anything. I just don't care. When you're not a United player anymore, I really don't care anymore. Same with Sancho, same with other players. It is what it is, especially when it's by choice. Like, I just tend to move on. I've seen claims that his dream is to play in Spain. He's not going to go Real Madrid because he's not going to get in ahead of anybody else they have in that side. Barcelona can't really even register Dani Olmo right now, for fuck's sake. I mean, they're fighting tooth and nail. I read that Barca are going to go to court to try to get this appeal. They've already got the appeal, which allows him to play until the end of the month, but they have to do something in the new year. So I doubt that they'll lose Dani Olmo. They've already have precedents for doing this with another player, Gavi. So I think they'll be fine. Plus, Spain, they have really weird rules and laws when it comes to employees and things, and you have to kind of look at the players as employees. That's why they all have release clauses and stuff like that. Like, you have to have one. So Spanish law is a little different when it comes to those kind of things. Players have more like employee rights in a weird way, if you think about it that way. So in any case, Barca can't afford Rashford. They can barely afford to pay their players as it is. So they're not getting Rashford unless we do some sort of stupid loan to buy option, which I don't want, because doing some sort of handshake deal with Barcelona for money. I mean, look at what happened with Frankie de Jong. Is he a guy been paid in like 2 years? I mean, no, I'm good. I don't mind him going to Barca. I just don't think it's going to happen. And I don't want to get involved with Barca's finances. I want money now. Atletico Madrid, maybe, if he wants to play in Spain. But I think Griezmann would have to either leave or they would have to switch systems. They'd play like a 3-5-2. Rashford could be a part of a 3-5-2 maybe. If Simeone ends up staying, Griezmann goes to the MLS like he wants to. I think Rashford and Alvaro Fernandez or Julian Alvarez could be good together. But Otherwise, maybe MLS, maybe LA Galaxy. I know LAFC only have 2 designated players at the moment, so they have room. I did read a report too, though, that the Saudi clubs are seeking a loan with an obligation to buy. They do see Rashford as an elite target. I think Al Nassr are selling Anderson Talisca to Fenerbahce before the end of the month, and so they want to replace him in January. I know Rio has been reportedly putting out the feelers to Saudi League. I said the other day that wherever Rashford chooses is going to say a lot about his priorities, just like I said about Ronaldo. Al Nassr sounds like it could be an option as well. So don't sleep on the Saudi League when it comes to Rashford. But in any case, we can't plan on life with Rashford anymore. He's not been part of the matchday squad the last 2 matches. He said he wants to leave. We're moving on. And we need to shift gears now and think about replacing him, or at least strengthening the squad with the funds from selling him, because he is all profit. Where should that money go? Where could it go? Do you get a winger? Do you get a like for like? Do you maybe want a striker? Do you want to look at midfield? Do you want to look at left backs, like number 10s? There's all sorts of options there. So Danny B says no alcohol and partying in the Saudi, Sean. I mean, he can pretend. I mean, if you think that these freaking celebrities are hanging out in the Saudi League and they're not drinking, then I know it's illegal. I know that even foreigners and stuff, like tourists, aren't allowed to. When you're that rich, you're going to find a way around it somehow. So, but we'll see. But yeah, no, you're right. It could that does put a damper in his plans. I mean, Saudi ain't no Belfast, is it? So, but like, this is the thing. Like, do you get a winger? Do you get a striker, midfielder? Let's for argument's sake, let's start the conversation by assuming that Amorim maybe for now sticks with Malacia, Mazraoui, and Dallo as his left-sided options, because he's been playing them all pretty regularly in those positions. He kind of is rotating. Malacia is getting minutes. Seems to like Malacia. Let's say that for right now, for the first option, he sticks with that. And let's say we want to go in that 10 position, kind of where Rashford was. We were trying to play Rashford in that number 10. Few options there. First of all, we'll start with the easy ones, the players that I've mentioned in the past, but they bear repeating again. I'm going to go ahead real quick. Hold on one second. Sometimes when I do this thing freaking makes the thing look weird. So I'm going to remove that real quick. There we go. That'll be better. That'll look a little nicer when I'm doing this. I have that little frame, as you guys see, and I just took it away because sometimes it makes the other screens look funny. So I'm going to start with 2 players that I've mentioned in the past, one of which really would be a very seamless addition to the system, and I think could be a steal in January. I've already mentioned him on a video recently, so go back and watch that. The other's a little less experienced, but I think he's got loads of potential, and I know Danny loves him. He has the potential to be a top player. He's wanted by a lot of big clubs right now, and so we'll start with these 2 to get him out of the way. Very little explanation needed, right? Rayan Cherki and Franco Mastantuono. Cherki, I mean, he can play wide, like kind of where Ahmad's playing. He can also play in the 10. I think that since we're replacing Rashford, for argument's sake, we'll call Cherki one of the 10s. We'll call Mastantuono one of the 10s. Cherki, more mobile than Bruno in terms of movement off the ball and on the ball. Better at pass and move. Better in tight spaces than Rashford. Several years of first team experience at Lyon, right? Even though he's still very young, he's only 21. Perfect fit, in my opinion, Rayan Cherki. And I think he could be a bargain. Again, I'm not going to rehash all the stats and everything I did in that January bargain window. You guys can go back and watch that. But Lyon are a shit show right now. They're in debt. They need to sell. They're facing a transfer ban. They're facing provisional relegation. They need to sell. They just kind of like Everton. They're not going to want to sell a ton of players, but they need to do something. And Cherki could be a swoop. We could get him for pretty cheap. Mastantuono was also featured in that video. River Plate season is done. He's one of the most promising young talents out there at the moment. We're linked to him along with Real Madrid. I think we need him more than Madrid. I mean, we just saw Baturina reportedly turn down a move to Madrid because they have like 1,000 number 10s at that club right now. So if you're a young number 10, you're not going to be playing. I mean, Martin Odegaard went on like 18 loans before he wound up at Arsenal. It's just the way it is. But, they're just going to keep running Modric to the ground over there until he just dies on that pitch. But I think that these 2 would come in, Chirke probably starts right away after getting integrated with the system. Mastantuono is probably going to be in and around and maybe getting some minutes here and there. But you guys let me know. I'm going to see what you guys are doing in the chat here. Let me remove this for a second and get down to the chat. Danny says, thought on Ederson links. So you think he's good enough to be playing out from the back, very similar to Ugarte. I did see some Ederson links. Obviously, we've been linked to Ederson since the summer. On the links, honestly, like, and I'm not saying like you're wrong or anything. I'm saying the fresh links that come out today are really, in my opinion, when I read those, they're not anything different than what we've seen before. It's just more of United continue to monitor. They are talking up a potential January move. The same stuff that we've been talking about. I think you're gonna find it difficult to get a player like that away from Atalanta in January, and I think that would be expensive. I think that might be something that you can lock down maybe a little earlier, maybe get done in the summer. I wouldn't say no to it personally, and if it was just a straight, hey, we're selling Rashford for this much, we're gonna do it, just bring in Ederson for this much, and that's all our January business, I wouldn't even be opposed to it personally, but we'll see. The links aren't anything fresh yet. So, but I do like Ederson a lot. You guys know I've mentioned him before in some videos. I really like Ederson. He represents an experienced midfielder, really good on the ball. I think he comes in and he plays alongside Ugarte, plays alongside Casemiro, rotates with Kobe Mainoo. He's very, very good. He gets around the pitch, good on and off the ball. I love Ederson. You guys know that. Danny says, Cherokee, Franco Mastantuono, you know my picks, pal. Yeah, I mean, that's what we do, man. You and I are kind of on the same page with a lot of stuff. Lionheart says, take two. Yeah, man, just 2 for today because I love you guys so much. Danny says, do you think Cherokee could play wingback? He is good enough defensively. I think he could. Like I said, he could kind of do the same thing that Ahmad's doing. He could play a little of both, or maybe even like on paper. See, this is where we can't get too bogged down and too legalistic with what we see on paper, because on paper is very different to how things play out. If you look at heat maps, if you look at positions, if you look at patterns of play, like on paper, Garnacho came on yesterday against Spurs and was supposed to play in a 10. But if you watched, he and Dallo were doing a lot of over and underlapping in wide positions. Dallo moving in, Garnacho moving wide, and vice versa. How it looks in translation and like actual systems and patterns of play could be very different. And so I do think Shoike has that potential, just like Ahmad has as well. And that's why I like him, Danny, because he is versatile. He can do it. Danny says, just pay the release clause. Yeah, no, for real. Danny says, Garnacho might get his act together if we get Franco. Yeah, Garnacho hasn't really, in this new system, it's a little different. In the old system, he didn't really have a whole lot of competition because the old system used wingers. This new system doesn't. And now he's, like I said in the video the other day, you can go back and watch that if you want. He's got to be humble. He's got to be teachable, coachable, and he's got to make a decision for himself. And really, someone just needs to deactivate his Twitter account personally. But Danny wants Baleba over Ederson. I mean, Baleba, if you're going to get a defensive midfielder from Brighton, you're going to be forking out like anywhere between 80 to 100 mil these days. It's just the way Brighton work. They don't need to sell anymore. Brighton, honestly, if we're going to take anybody from Brighton, go get their freaking scouts. Mats Wiefer, excellent pickup. O'Reilly, excellent pickup from Celtic. Brighton know how to scout. All right, we're going to move on to the next player on my list. Let me put him in here for you guys. That look a lot better without those lines on the screen. Sticking with the number 10, 23-year-old Malik Tillman, plays for PSV Eindhoven, killing it this season. I love this guy so much. Now, I know some of you are like, Sean, you just said Ederson's not leaving in Atlanta in January. Why are PSV ain't selling him in January? They're not going to sell their best player in January, Sean. What are you thinking? Well, to that, I say Cody Gakpo says hi. There is precedent there. PSV Eindhoven sold Cody Gakpo in January to Liverpool after the World Cup. There is precedent. It can get done if you push and you do it. And some of you are done with buying from the Dutch league after Ten Hag kind of just only seemed to be shopping in the Dutch aisle. But trust me, Tillman is the truth. 6 goals, 1 assist in the league, 3 goals, 2 assists in the Champions League this season. Second highest rated player in the Champions League right now. First for key passes per 90. He presses high up the pitch. He's good on the ball. He's got vision. His passing, his goal scoring. I'm looking at his numbers right now on FBref. there's one number that is below average, and that's still in the 45th percentile, and one number that's just above average. The dude is literally everything else is well above average. Like even defensively, tackles, interceptions, blocks, clearances, aerials, all like literally top 1% for interceptions and blocks per 90, top 5 for tackles. His pass completion is on point, touches in the box on point, successful take-ons, shot creating actions. The kid just is a beast. He's having an excellent season. PSV know how to get these players in there, and he is freaking a baller. Gakpo was doing the dirty. What's his face? Xavi Simons doing the dirty. Like he's really, and he's the U.S. international. So I'm not being biased, but he's a U.S. international, so that helps as well. What is Lionheart saying here in the chat? Look, for me, it's simple. Rashi to Sporting and Giovanni Quenda to United. But are Sporting still playing a similar system? I haven't watched Sporting since Amorim left, but are they still playing a similar system? If so, then Rashford doesn't fit. I don't see Rashford. I feel like Rashford wouldn't. No one in the Portuguese league is going to be able to afford Rashford's wages. That just is what it is. There are very few clubs who can. Like I mentioned, Al Nassr, they're selling Anderson Talisca in January. That could be a very real option. LAFC, you only have 2 designated player slots filled. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the MLS, the teams get 3 designated player spots, and that means they get 3 players that can pay a shit ton of money. It's also called the Beckham rule because it started when David Beckham showed up. LAFC only have 2 of those spots filled, so they have another spot. They had Bale there for a while. They had, who's the Mexican dude? I always forget the guy's name. The winger, Carlos something. It's going to bother me now. Lionheart says, sounds like Depay to me. Yeah, so did Cody Gakpo, and Cody Gakpo is, doing just fine. Cowboy hat and Hall. Yes, Lionhearts, we all wear cowboy hats over here in America, clearly. Dana B says, to be honest, I haven't watched much of him, Sean. Yeah, he's having a very good season. He plays in that number 10 role. He is buzzing around everywhere, getting involved. He's got a really, really good shot. Good set-piece taker as well, is Tillman. So watch a little more PSV. You'll see what I'm talking about. Malambo. Yeah, we did that little mini report on Malambo not that long ago. Obviously, we were linked with him. Young, plays for Feyenoord. I think he's 17, 18, midfielder. He's still raw, but he's another one of those young players like the Nipons, the Mastantuanos that we're looking at, like the Diego Leons that we're targeting. Lionheart says, I honestly see Rashford playing for Monaco. I don't know why. I mean, the only team in France that will afford him is PSG, honestly. If Marseille were a little richer, I could see him going there, joining the Roberto De Zerbi crowd, hanging out with Mason Greenwood a little bit. But I just don't see it happening personally. I think if he's going anywhere in France, it would have to be PSG. And honestly, PSG, they have a lot of attackers already. Ousmane Dembele, Barcola still there. Kang Jin Lee, I like Kang. If we could do a straight swap for Kang Jin Lee, I would do that in a heartbeat. But it is what it is. But you guys let me know what you think of Malik Tillman. I'm going to move on to the next one. He might ruffle some feathers, but we're going to go with it because, like him or not, the guy's actually a very good player. And this is Ademola Lookman. If you just wanted a straight up for age, position, etc., then Ademola Lookman is the guy. He reads the game well. He's a goal scorer. Can play as a striker. Can play as a 10. He can play on the wing. He can do a lot of it. 11 goals, 5 assists in 19 appearances this season. So 16 goal involvements in 19 appearances is not bad. He had a hat trick in last year's Europa League final to end Bayer Leverkusen's dominant season, if you remember that. African Footballer of the Year. He looks likely to leave Atalanta this year. Both United and Liverpool reportedly already talking to his representatives. We've had really good business with Atalanta in the past. We got Amad Diallo from there. We got Rasmus Højlund from them. He'd jump into the starting 11 right away, honestly provide excellent rotation with Garnacho. I think he and Bruno behind a striker would be excellent. Reportedly £50 million price tag, so roughly the same price we'd probably look to get for Rashford. He's only on $44K a week right now in his wages, so much cheaper than we'd be taking. I mean, he's probably going to want a pay rise, right? We probably have to put up to $150K a week to bring in the United. But Ademola Lookman he's actually had a really good, and this is going to be his last, probably one of his last contracts. Really good off the ball too. His tackles, top 30%, wins a lot of aerial duels, top 25%, progressive carries, top 15%, take-ons, 70th percentile, top 10% for getting high at the pitch, touches in the attacking box, progressive passes, shot creating actions, top 7%. Lookman is very good. Is he world class? No. If you're going to want world class like Kvaratskhelia, you're going to pay a lot of money, probably easily twice as much you're going to pay for Lookman. I'm not settling, but Lookman is still a very good player. Lionel says, yeah, Atalanta loves Man United. Not as much as Real Madrid and Leicester love Man United, let me tell you that. And Ajax, fucking hell. We are keeping some of these clubs in business simply by just overpaying for shit. But you guys let me know what you think about Lookman. I know a lot of people are not super keen on Lookman. I think with some players, it's a matter of finding the right fit to really kickstart that. And I think he found that fit at Atalanta. And you can't deny that the guy's had a really good past couple years in the Italian league. And maybe that's what it needed. Who knows? I'm not saying he's guaranteed success. I'm saying on paper and what we're seeing on a week-to-week basis, he's very good. Lionel said he's failed at multiple clubs. Yeah, this is why I said when I put him up on the screen that he was gonna be a little bit mercurial. Ademola Lookman's like one of those players where like there's no really in between. You either would take him or you just won't. I've never seen a gray area when someone talking about him. Danny doesn't like him. I know you don't like him, Danny. I know you were gonna have some issues when I put him up here on the screen, but maybe you'll feel a little different about this next guy. Some of you might not be familiar with this guy, but we're going to throw him up here. So this one was a little bit of scouting. This is Christiantis Uche. So again, if you want to look for another like for like, but maybe one who's a little bit more of a younger talent on the rise, I have one for you. And this is 21-year-old Getafe attacker Christiantis Uche. Nigerian, very intense, very energetic, very good pressing the ball, good tackling. He's very versatile. He can play in a number of positions all across the front line. Striker, winger. He's young enough, similar in age to Garnacho. I like what I like about him is his aggression, his energy, his intensity on the pitch, and that's what we need more of. Players who are willing to be physical, who are willing to run around, and he's also really good on the ball. Young, hungry, perfect profile for Ruben Amorim to work with and develop. There has been interest from Chelsea and Brighton, but Getafe literally paid $500,000 for him in the summer. So he's new, but they didn't pay that much. It'd be hard for them to turn down a good offer in January or in the summer, personally. Plus, they owe us one after we sent Mason Greenwood there on loan, and he was basically their player of the year and scored a shit ton of goals for them. They owe us one. Lionheart says, I like Uche. Yeah, he's still getting his feet. He's still learning because he's only been there a few months right now. Not great. Now, are you talking about, Dan, are you talking about Lookman or are you talking about Uche? Let me know. Yeah, Lionheart's young, dynamic, would fit perfectly. I think he could. I think he has the physicality, the energy, the intensity to handle the Premier League, which I really like. He wouldn't be just passive. I think that he's hungry. Danny says, haven't watched much. Yeah, he's doing very, very well. Really good numbers, good in tackles, 68 percentile for tackles for wingers is very good. Wins a lot of aerial duels, top 25%. Shot creating actions, 70 percentile, so better than 70% of the players out there in that regard in his position. He really good at moving the ball, carrying the ball. He's in the top 25% for progressive carries, and he's a top 13% for successful take-ons. So he's good at moving the ball, and in that area of the pitch, that's what you want. We need to move the ball. Uche. So I like this kid. I think it's one worth looking at. He wouldn't be one who's going to come in and win you the league, but it's one of those, if you're looking for like, but you're looking for someone who's ready, room for development, I think. Could he play wingback? I don't know, because Atalanta don't really play wingbacks. I think he's young enough that he could learn, right? And it's just a matter of, I think he's got the stamina and the pace and the physicality for it, for sure. But it's all about learning, because Amorim is teaching everybody a different way of just reading the game, of playing the game. Let me take this off the screen real quick so I can talk to you guys. This is my new shirt, by the way. I got this in the mail today. I told you guys I got myself a little Christmas present. 12-13 home shirt. I really like this. This is the player's issue too. It's much slimmer than I thought it was going to be. So But yeah, Danny, he could. It's just a matter of if he's willing to kind of develop in that regard. If he wants to play as strikers, he wants to play as a natural winger, then that's up to him. But it's an option, like I said. Lionhearts wants to know, did United sign that Leon boy? They did. Fabrizio Romano gave us the here we go. Obviously, the club haven't given anything announced. The club are a little behind, though. So I was told yesterday, I was sent an email from Lee Sports Village that the academy match that I was supposed to be going to in January when I was over there got moved, and it conflicts with another Saturday thing, so I'm not able to go anymore. But the club didn't even announce that till today, so the club aren't super quick at putting out in public what is going on behind the scenes. But yeah, we did give the here we go. It's like $3 million, $4 million guaranteed, and $1 million in easy add-ons, and then like another $2-3 million in difficult add-ons. So basically, like $4 million. They put it in dollars. I didn't convert it yet. That's just what Romano said, because they like to put it in dollars when they want to take hits at United, because dollars make it sound a lot higher than it actually is. But the only time you see that is when it's a Manchester United signing. Who knew? The Butner shirt. Alexander Butner. He went to the MLS for a bit, didn't he? He was at like Montreal or some shit. I don't remember off the top of my head now. But yeah, what player do you guys think of when you see the 12-13 home shirt? I think of RVP personally, but yeah, I like this shirt. So we looked at some like for likes, we looked at some 10s. If you're not looking exactly for like, in that you're not looking necessarily for a number 10 or a winger or like an attacker, I think that there's an opportunity, because Amorim doesn't really use wingers. We really need to be thinking about strengthening this squad by bringing in players for the system. So if that's the route that maybe we want to go with, and considering our need for a best-in-class on the left-hand side, there is an opportunity here to swoop in January, in my opinion, for a player we've talked about a couple times now, but it's worth repeating. And I think that this deal, could be done because this player's club is also one of the, in my opinion, an ideal location for Marcus Rashford. We've already been linked with this player. You guys can take a guess who you think it is. I'll throw him up here on the screen. And that is Alphonso Davies. Easy hit, right, and low-hanging fruit in terms of the transfer targets go, but it bears repeating because the links don't go away. I think Bayern are one of the few clubs who would want Rashford and I think can afford his wages. If you look at their wage bill on Capology, they're paying their players a lot of money. I thought United were bad. Bayern are way worse. Manuel Neuer is on like $400K a week. Harry Kane's on more than that. Michael Olise just joined them in the summer, and he's on like $260K a week. That's insane. Michael Olise had one decent season in the Premier League, and he's on friggin' $260K a week at Bayern Munich. That is a little bit ridiculous. So they can definitely afford Rashford's wages. They do play with like your traditional wingers, like he does. They played today. I didn't watch the rest of the game. I watched like the first half. They were beating the shit out of RB Leipzig personally. Musiala, man. I wish that Musiala wanted to leave. I would have him in a heartbeat, but I think they're going to go all out to keep him there. But I think that Bayern's got to be up there with one of the most likely destinations for Rashford, along with PSG, like I said. Davies fills a vacuum in Amorim's system that we haven't really adequately filled, and he does it with world-class talent if he can stay fit. His injuries do worry me, but he definitely comes in and improves the squad. He definitely he's an instant starter. He's got Champions League pedigree, title-winning pedigree, and he's still a good age. And I think he could be a leader in that dressing room. He can be a leader on the pitch. You just need him to stay fit. I think a January swoop for Alphonso Davies could be an excellent bit of business, and I think that could be something. You don't see swap deals too often, but this is my fantasy land option, so just bear with me. Lionheart says, I think of Shinji Kagawa, man. We don't do very well with the Bundesliga players of the year, do we? Especially when they're from Dortmund. We don't do well with Dortmund players when we sign with this club. Mkhitaryan didn't really work out for us. Kagawa didn't really work out for us. Sancho obviously didn't work out for us. That's a bummer. Maybe we just need to stop signing. Maybe we kind of sidestep the landmine not grabbing Haaland from Dortmund. He probably would have showed up and been shit, right? Whatever we need to tell ourselves. Cognitive dissonance. On this wingback role, because obviously if you're going that route, there are other options. Patrick Dorgu, still an option. I'm not too keen on the reported price tag for him. I read somewhere that Lecce were holding out for like 30 to somewhere between 30 and 40 million, which to me is a lot for a relatively young, unproven player. I haven't seen enough of Dorgu to tell me like he's worth that. And so the price tag on Dorgu definitely puts me off a little bit. Obviously, that's not set in stone. You could probably do something with that. Miguel Gutierrez would probably be one of my top picks in that position as well. He has a release clause. We did that report last week that said it could, like, Girona would be open to less than that personally. So that could be an option as well. Maybe there's an option there too. If we were like, if Madrid want Alphonso Davies, but they can't afford him this summer, we want Alphonso Davies, but maybe Madrid have a sell-on clause. Maybe we could go behind the scenes, talk to Madrid and be like, guys, we'll let you have a free run at Alphonso Davies. We won't outbid you like we did with Lenny Yoro. Get rid of this sell-on clause so we can get this price down for Gutierrez, and we will call it a day, and everyone can move on amicably. How does that sound? Sound like a good deal, right? Lionheart says, I really like Kagawa. I don't have a problem with Kagawa at all. It just didn't seem like it was working out too well. Like there wasn't. I mean, didn't he have? I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong. Did he have a hat trick at one point for us? Someone remind me. He had moments. He did have moments, but so did Varane. So. No, I get you. Not bad. Just it's good. I think some people forget about Shinji. Danny B says too much for Dorgu. Go get Kirkes and Davies swap for Rashford plus cash in January. Kirkes could be good. I do like Kirkes a lot too. I feel like that one has Liverpool written all over it though. I feel like that. I feel like that's going to be a Liverpool thing. Has a lot to do with how Bournemouth end up doing. Honestly, I feel like it's going to have a lot to do if Iriola stays. If the Bournemouth keep doing what they're doing and Iriola gets poached by somebody bigger, who knows what could happen. Honestly, I can see if I'm not going to go on with that sentence because I don't even know. I don't want to talk about Man City, but you guys can guess where I was going to go with that one. I can see Iriola replacing Arteta at Arsenal too. If Arsenal end up winning fuck all again this year, I wouldn't put that past them. But of course, we might not have to jump into the transfer market right away. So this is kind of the cheating option, the option that isn't really an option. But we might not have to jump into the transfer market. We could have a pair of attackers that could come in and from the academy and maybe start rotating, getting some minutes towards the end of the season if Rashford ends up maybe sticking around a little longer. And those are these two characters right here, Cheeto Obi Martin and Gabriel Bianchiri. Even at just 17 years old, Obi Martin, quite frankly, is a little too good for the academy. I was watching his match the other day. I've watched him a couple times now. You guys were doing that watch along with me a couple weeks ago for the academy match. 17 years old, he's a freaking beast. He's got pace, he's got power, he's got finishing, he's got positioning, he's got a reading of the game that always seems to put him in the best position to score goals. He's breaking all sorts of goal-scoring records at the academy level, and it doesn't even look like it's hard. It doesn't even look like he's trying. Like, he looks super casual, like he's got gears left to hit, even at this level. Watching him in the FA Youth Cup the other day was interesting because they are trying to play Amorim's system a little bit, so he's making runs in those channels, kind of like what we've seen Gyökeres do, what we've seen Højlund do. He's learning how to make those kind of runs, so he's already learning the system. I like what I see so far from Obi Martin. 2 goals for him on that game this weekend, including a free kick under the wall. The only question mark with Obi Martin is going to be his mentality. Does he have the mentality, the mental strength to push himself, to handle the pressure? So he recently worked with RH Elite Coaching in Manchester, and his trainer was on Stratford Paddock talking to Joe and Jay about working with Obi Martin. And he mentioned that he's shy. He's a quiet, kind of reserved guy. It takes a while for him to come out of his shell. And there's nothing wrong with that. But again, is there the mentality there? Only time is going to tell. Not a bad thing. The Premier League, but in the Premier League and in Manchester United specifically, you might not get the chance to be that kind of guy anymore. You might have to come out of your shell. You might have to learn to be a little bit more stronger mentality. So we've yet to see what happened. Obviously, we don't want to put too much pressure on him, but he is an option. Lionheart says, I speak about City around 115 times a day. Didn't Jose Mourinho say something about them the other day about Pep, man? I don't like Jose. I've never liked Jose, but the guy is comedy gold. I can't deny him that much. Like, guy gives zero fucks when it comes to speaking in front of a camera. He really doesn't. At this point, I think Jose is just trolling everybody. He's literally only taking jobs just for the severance package, and he's just like, fuck it. I'm going to say whatever I want. I don't care. And I'm here for it, honestly. I just don't like him as a guy and as a manager and as a general human being. But that is what it is. Danny B says, hopefully he has the mentality, huge potential. Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. But I think that he could come in and kind of take over. Rashford debuted around the same age and took the world by storm. I think there's a potential here. Ian Carey, on the other hand, he's a youngster, Welsh youngster. We signed him a couple years ago. He's steadily been on the rise since we brought him to the club a few years ago. He's having a tremendous season right now. Hat trick against Coventry, 2 goals in the Premier League Division 2, 4 goals in the UEFA Youth League, 3 in the Premier League Cup, 8 goals and 5 starts in the Under-18 Premier League 2. The kid is on fire this season. Almost the exact... I would say the exact opposite because Biancheri is actually kind of tall. I think he's over 6 foot. Excuse me. I think he'd be perfect in one of those positions just behind the striker, where he has a little bit room to move. I think he's really good in those channels. He's very good at working in the channel, playing those. He gets a lot of assists too. He plays a lot of vertical passes to the striker. He does well though, even though he's behind the striker, to follow the play, to get in on the end of things, to make those late runs, pop up with those runs in the box, and just find those tap-ins. He's got really good positioning, Biancheri. This is what got him a hat trick against Coventry in the Youth Cup over the weekend. 18 years old now, Biancheri starting to get to that age where, as a club and as a player, a decision's got to be made. 18, you're starting to get to that point. Is he good enough to maybe get in and around the first team? Would a loan be better if he's good enough but not quite good enough for United, but he's maybe good enough for something down in like League One or Championship or something? Could that be an option? Is he United quality altogether? It really is a thing to consider. Lionheart says All or Nothing Spurs was a gold watch. I mean, All or Nothing Spurs is literally just nothing. There's no all with that. It's nothing. We already know it's like, spoiler alert, nothing is the title of that series for Spurs. The Welsh Wizard. Yeah, we've had a couple of good Welsh players. I think we could have had another one had we gotten Gareth Bale over the line, but obviously we've had one of the best Welsh players you're ever going to see in Ryan Giggs. We got turned down by Aaron Ramsey, I believe, too, but that's okay. And Danny B agrees. I know Danny loves him some Academy players. That sounded creepy. Sorry, it wasn't meant to be. I like the Academy. The Academy is on point. Bando Mac, welcome, my friend. How are you doing tonight? Better late than never. Yeah, man, it's good to see you. Danny B says he needs to stick around, Biancheri. Yeah, I think that he's at the age now. I think there are a lot of these youngsters in the academy, whether it's Ennis. We already saw Ennis on preseason last summer, and he's cooking in the academy. Montato, Kone, I think. Has anyone seen an update on what Kone's injury has been looking like? I know he went down injured 2 or 3 weeks ago. I haven't seen any updates from the club. Kamison's doing really well. Kakonki's been in and around the first team. Ibrahimov, Gore, Fletcher, Missin, Morehouse, Armour. I mean, do I need to keep going? There's a ton of academy players who I think that we're going to see them in and around the first team probably in preseason if some of them don't go on loan in January. I think Amos Ennis could be going on loan. It says, what are we all forgetting about Dan James? See, there's another one. There's a couple in there. Oddly enough, like I said it the other day, I feel like Dan James really could have been a good wingback had we played with wingbacks, where he's not, like, I feel like as a winger, there's a lot of pressure on you in the attacking phase of play. And as a fullback, there's a little bit, I think as a wingback, doing what Ahmad's doing, I think Dan James probably could have had a place in this team, maybe as a backup for Ahmad in that regard. It's sad to say. I didn't think he was good enough necessarily, but I think that he just wasn't clinical. Like his final ball in the final third just was never quite good. Bandomex says Kukonki is a unit. Yeah, Kukonki is a unit. Clayton, but yep, forgot about Clayton. Yeah, there's all sorts of them out there, you guys. You guys keep throwing them out there. Wing back in the dressing room, maybe. Yeah, Dan James, dude, that dude just never stopped running. And fair play to him, he's exactly the reason that we did so well against like City. Um, maybe I'm thinking of him when he was at Swansea, but he's the kind of player you need against those sides who play a high line because the dude was one of the fastest players I've ever seen in my life. It's just too bad that it couldn't quite get it dialed in. And he started to look more and more like just a super, super fast, like Golden Sonic version of Diego Dallo, like just fast, but like didn't have it on either end of the pitch, if that makes sense. But you guys let me know. Those are my options. I wish there was more. There's not. I think that when it comes to replacing Rashford, really the question is, how do you spend the money? Do you look at like for like? Do you look at other positions in the squad? Do you look at bargains? I mean, you could take that money and stretch it a long way in January with some of these bargain deals that we talked about the other week. It just depends on the club, really, what they want to prioritize. Bando Max says, I'll show my age if I say Mickey Thomas. That was a blast from the past. Why don't we go ahead and redo the giveaway right now? Because Kyle was unfortunately, I'd never heard back from Kyle. And so we're going to redo the giveaway that we did last week, the 2K giveaway for reaching the 2Ks. Remember, I told you that. So this is the shirt for the giveaway. Brand new. I left it in the packaging so you guys would have it brand new. So why don't we go ahead and do that now? Let me put this up on the screen and let's do this. So we are doing the giveaway. You can see, like we did last time, everybody's name is on there. I added a couple more people that have showed up recently and been getting more involved. So we're going to go ahead and spin the wheel, and whoever it lands on, we're going to do the giveaway to them. You get the shirt. You're going to get at me at Gmail. It's unitedstatesofunited@gmail.com is where you're going to send me the details. I have to tell you, YouTube is not responsible. They don't sponsor this. They're not liable. This is all me. And your information is only going to be used to send you the shirt. I'm not going to send you pizzas. I'm not going to get you some junk mail. It only is for the shirt. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel, shall we? We'll go from there. What does it say? Neil Driscoll. Neil Driscoll, you are the winner of the 2K giveaway, the 21-22 home shirt. Neil, you will be getting this guy. So Neil, send me your details, unitedstatesofunited@gmail.com, Neil, and I will get that shirt to you. It probably won't get to you in time for Christmas now. We did have a little bit of a delay waiting for the last guy to get to us, but Neil Driscoll, you are the winner. Congratulations. And big up Neil for getting involved in the channel. Big up everybody for helping us get to 2K. We are on the road to 3K now. Got a lot of fun stuff coming, I think I want to do for the channel. So you guys will probably see that over the next week or so. But that'll be fun. But you guys, let me know what you think about those transfer targets. Can give a congrats to Neil. Yeah, Danny, I know I've seen him popping up on Rich's channel, so we will let him know next time Rich does a video and we see Neil. Hopefully, Neil, if you're watching, like I said, just get me your details. Let me know where you want this thing sent, and I will send it to you. Lionheart says, no dirty flyers in the post. No, sorry. No dirty flyers. Sorry, guys. But what do you guys think? Is there anybody I left out? Who would you replace Rashford with? What would you do with that money? What position would you prioritize? Would you save it? Would you try to stretch it and get a bunch of youngsters? Would you try to get some bargains? Do you want to like for like? Like you guys, I want to know what you guys think. Those are just what I think. You guys know I'm a bit of a scout nerd, and that's what I do. But I want to know what you guys want. So I'll leave the chat open for a few minutes to let you guys get your thoughts in, get your picks in. Try to keep it realistic, please. No Mbappes, no Harry Kanes and stuff like that. But you guys can see along the lines of where I'm thinking. There's a good mix in there of young players who are maybe ready for that next step, players we've been linked with, but players I think that could be done, whether Rashford leaves in January or not. You guys let me know. I know Danny already threw out Ederson. Ederson could be a good steal. I think that could happen. Whether or not Lookman, if that happens in January or summer, probably leaning more towards summer, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. I mean, Arsenal got Aubameyang from Dortmund in January. Liverpool got both Luis Diaz and Cody Gakpo in January. It can happen. We got Bruno Fernandes in January. I mean, it happens sometimes. It's not too common, but Danny says Kvara, but that's not realistic. I do like Kvara. He would probably be the ideal. It's just he's going to be a lot of money, and quite frankly, I'm never going to be prone to spending that much on one player when I know that with some decent scouting and some good negotiating, you can get like 3 or 4 players for that and still strengthen the squad. I don't like that. I think we're moving away from that mindset as well. He'll go someplace as well. I mean, but then again, we could buy him. I don't know what's going on anymore. Who knows? At this rate, Amorim could be sacked before the end of the season the way this club is at points in time. Danny wants Cunha. Cunha is having a good season. I don't know what happened. Again, I haven't even gone back and watched a lot of the aftermath of that Wolves match the other day. Hopefully that was just a one-off, but I don't know what Cunha was doing. I read he was like pushing a trainer or something and taking his glasses. Like, I don't know what the hell was going on there, but I'm like, bro, that's not a good way to get people interested. Like, if I were a manager, I'd be like, no, fuck that. Bandomek says, I don't think there was a short-term fix as they will cost too much money. Yeah, nothing short-term. It's just a matter of Rashford wants out. He hasn't been a part of the squad. The club are probably going to want to move him on, get those wages off the books, get that money, and start strengthening and starting this rebuild. It's just a matter of what that looks like. Is it like for like? Is it young up-and-comer? Is it best in class you can find in another position on the pitch, maybe like a left back or a number 10 maybe? That's what we're doing. Lionhearts wants Evan fecking Ferguson as a United player written all over him. He's very similar, though, to Højlund, is he? Maybe he's a little more of a traditional 9, and like Højlund, I think, is more of play on the shoulder, run into space kind of guy. Ferguson, I just haven't seen Ferguson play a whole lot since his injury. I know he was having a really good season a couple of years ago, and then got injured, and he just kind of fell off the face of the earth. But Danny says could be passion too in terms of Cunha. Like, does passion make you steal someone's glasses? I mean, what is this, 3rd grade? Is he on the playground? I like Cunha. I liked him when he was at Atletico, when we were linked with him, and then he ended up going to Wolves. It's easy for the situation at a club, and obviously the Wolves are not doing well. They sacked Gary O'Neill. It's easy for all that to trickle into the players. And that's why leadership is so important, from owners, from management, from captain to everything. It all impacts one another. It trickles down. It's important to really address that before it gets out of hand, because I'm sure the players are feeling the stress. If the club's feeling it too, they sacked Gary O'Neill. Obviously, it all kicked off the other day. You can see that there was tension there. Danny B says, I like Ferguson. I like Ferguson. I just haven't seen enough of him personally since he got injured. Lionhearts likes Delap from Ipswich. I like Delap as well. Didn't they pick up Schmodic as well? Smaldick? I don't remember what the guy's name was. You guys let me know. I want to say he was at Blackburn. And I feel like he did get sold in the summer. I just don't know where he went. I want to say it was Ipswich, but I don't remember. You guys let me know where he went if you remember. But I like him as well. Proper old school striker. Yeah. You don't see a whole lot of the old school strikers out there anymore. The Kane, even Kane kind of fell away from the old school striker mentality, started dropping deep a little bit. But like your Lewandowski's, your Haaland, I mean, the old school striker, like those guys, they need the ball. And you see when Haaland, and I've said it many times, when Haaland, if you look at any of the matches where City have struggled, it tends to be because Haaland isn't getting the ball. Manchester Derby, I told you guys, Haaland had the fewest touches of anyone on the pitch that game. He made like 6 passes. He barely got the ball. He had no shots. You cut off the service to Haaland, City are toothless. It's just the way it is. And old school strikers do need that. They do need that. So I think now that modern game is moving into this area where strikers need to maybe get a little bit more involved. They need to be able to create for themselves a little bit. They need to have a little bit more to their game than just getting on the end of something. But maybe that's just the way I feel. I don't know. Don't like him because Lionheart's about Cunha, I imagine. Smodix, that is, Smodix. I knew it was something like that. I think it's not small dick. I don't know how big his dick is. I really don't. But those are my options. I think that a lot of them come in and they do strengthen the team, whether it's for the immediate or for the future. It's just a matter of what we do, and it's a big question. The whole reason I did the video is because I had the question in my mind: what do we do with the Rashford money? Do we Does that happen in January? Does that happen in the summer? Seems like it's more likely the former than the latter with the way that he's been left out of the squad and whatnot. But you guys let me know. You guys hear my dogs down there squeaking a toy. Um, but that's going to be it. Congratulations again to Neil Driscoll. Neil, if you're watching, again, send me your details to unitedstatesofunited@gmail.com for the 2K giveaway shirt. You guys, we're on the road to 3K. I do these giveaways periodically just as a thank you for you guys. I want to do another video here soon before Christmas. You guys let me know if you guys want to maybe do like a Christmas kind of Q&A kind of thing, trivia Q&A, just a fun kind of chill video during the festive season. You guys let me know if you'd be down for that. I know a lot of people are usually doing family stuff for the holidays, so that's something you guys might be interested in stopping by and getting involved in. Maybe Santa Claus will show up and give out a couple gifts for that as well. But feel free to let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments how you feel about maybe doing a Q&A. Feel free to let me know in the comments too what you would do with the Rashford money, either in January or the summer. What would you prioritize? Who are some of your players that you want us to go look at? Keep it realistic, please. You guys know I like keep it realistic. Honestly, even when I play FC 25, I'm not the guy out there signing like all the best players. Maybe when I was like 11, I did that. I don't do that anymore. But keep it realistic. Thank you guys for stopping by tonight. Lionhearts, Danny, Bandomac. As always, been a pleasure. Danny, I know I rely on you for the scouting, so I know you're probably happy to get Leon. I hope you're probably praying every night for Mastantuono, but I think Nipan's over the line. We got another 17-year-old in Diego Leon over the line. We're looking at more. Hopefully we can get it done. Thank you guys for stopping by. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. We'll be back tomorrow for the preview of the Bournemouth match on Sunday, so be sure to come back for that one. Get your predictions in for that one and everything. Cheers, everybody. Thank you again. I will talk to you on the next one. Later.